Hey everyone, how are y'all doing? Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new writing vlog. So I'm actually filming this intro after filming this entire vlog because I didn't really know what this vlog was going to be and I haven't edited it yet, so I still don't know what it is if I'm being honest. But this is basically just a bunch of clips of my writing journey since moving to my grandmother's house. If you guys missed that, go watch some of my most recent videos. I talk about it a couple of different times, but I've moved into my grandmother's house for the next year while our new house is getting built, and so this is just kind of a bunch of clips randomly throughout the last couple of months since we've been living here. It's been a hard time recently with writing. I haven't been super consistent, so I didn't want to commit myself to doing like a strategic like 1 week vlog or something like that, so this has been taken over the last couple of months. But I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you're excited that the writing vlogs are back. I'm not committing to making them super consistent every single week, but hopefully you'll get a couple a month and maybe I can work myself back up to doing them more consistently, but I don't want to put any pressure on myself. But I hope you guys are excited for this video, so let's just get into it. Flashback to myself from a couple of months ago. Okay, so I've been working on my adult rom-com now for a little bit and I'm so excited. I've been wanting to work on this for a while. I've had all of these plans and all of these goals since June to work on this project. I'm coining it Mission Rom-Com. I don't know if that's going to end up being like the actual title that I refer to it by or if it's just going to continue to be the project title. I honestly don't know, but for right now I'm referring to it as Mission Rom-Com. It's my adult romance that I'm just so excited about. It's inspired by How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. But I've had all these goals since June. Okay, these are my June bullet journal spreads. These are the goals, none of which were completed. And then again, I had them in July and only one of them was completed. And that was literally just saying start the outline. Like, not even finish the outline, just start the outline. And that's the only thing that I managed to complete in July. So now here we are again in August and I have more writing goals that I'm trying to accomplish. So yeah, let's just backtrack a little bit. Life has been hectic. I've made an update video about it. I'm sure you guys know now I've moved, clearly, and life has just been really crazy. I'm trying to adjust to everything, so writing has definitely taken a huge backseat. But this past weekend we went away to the States to our like little cabin place that we have because we've just like every weekend for the past few weekends have been like dedicated to moving and it's been so like strenuous and we've all been just so drained and tired, and so we were like, okay, we're gonna take this weekend just to go relax for a few days, and it was so nice. And I decided to take that opportunity to do a lot of reading, which I did, and then I also decided to bring my laptop with me to try and get some work done on Mission Rom-Com. So I also brought the notebook and all of the like character profile stuff with me to hopefully work on that as well, but I mainly did work on the outline, which I am just so excited about. So currently the outline is sitting at 5,159 words, which just feels wild. Like, this didn't exist like a few days ago and now it's like it's here. So Act 1 is pretty much figured out. I think there's like some missing parts that I can add, and it definitely needs more details. Like, my outlines tend to be quite detailed. I like to know like little bullet points of like what the settings look like, what the characters are wearing, and I don't know any of that at the moment, so I do need to add more details in to aid me when I'm drafting. But for all intents and purposes, Act 1 is complete in the outline. And then I have the beats for the rest of the books. I follow the Save the Cat beat sheet. It is my favorite, so I do follow the Save the Cat beats. So for the rest of the book in Act 2 and Act 3, I have all the beats figured out in a basic sense. Like, I have Break Into 2 figured out, and then a lot of the other ones are just me like listing everything that I want to happen, the overarching like vibe of what I want to happen in that beat, with maybe some specific scenes. But for the most part, like, the rest of the book really needs to be fleshed out into proper scenes. So all I need to do is do that, and then I have other things that I need to do that I'll get to in a second. But I am feeling so excited about this project and so excited about the trajectory of the story now that I've actually gotten like the basic story written down. And I was really nervous about writing an adult romance just because I feel like my voice is so inherently YA. Like, I feel like I could not, okay. There are very few things that I'll give myself credit for being good at, but I do feel like my voice is my strongest writing asset, and I do feel like I have a very good YA voice. I just feel like it leans itself into YA very nicely, and I was feeling really worried about it. But then I came across a snippet that I'd written on my phone. I don't remember when, but quite a while ago. I think it must have been when I was trying to fall asleep or something, and I just grabbed my phone after having an idea and just jotting it down. But I found it recently and I read it over and I was like, oh, wait a second, like this actually does feel like an adult book, an adult voice, and it made me just feel like slightly more confident in myself and in my abilities to do this. And I do think that it's going to be an adult book, right? But my main character is on like the younger, like she's not quite in her mid-20s yet. I think she's like 24 maybe, and I do want her to be like floundering in life a little bit and trying to find her ways. So I do think there will be elements of that like YA voice of like not knowing what you're doing and like just trying to like figure shit out. But overall, like right now I'm feeling quite confident in that adult voice. And then, you know, there's always that reassuring thought of it's going to be a first draft, it's not going to be perfect, and it's reassuring to know that I'm going to have other drafts to hone that voice and make it feel as authentically adult as I can. But yeah, that was just something that I was like struggling with, that I feel like I've started to at least overcome a little bit. But I'm just so excited about this project and everything that's going to happen in it. And I just like, I love How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days so much that I'm so excited to like turn it into like a book and like take inspiration from it for a book. Oh my god, I'm also so nervous because I'm setting it in New York, which I've never set a book fully in another place before. They've always been set in the city that I live in, with the exception of Reasons Why Not To, where they do travel to California for a period of time. But I've been to California many times, so that at least felt a little bit like okay, whereas I've only been to New York once, and I'm gonna have to do a lot of work on Google Maps to try and write this as accurately as possible, and hopefully I'll be able to go back to New York in the next like couple of years to hopefully like immerse myself in the world again. But yeah, that's another thing that I'm just extremely nervous about, and right now that's like the top tier thing that's like on my mind of like things I'm worried about. My other goals for the month though, finish the outline. It's the main one. I want to finish the character profiles, which I did do some work on yesterday, so that's exciting. I mainly worked yesterday, I think, a little bit on Austin, who is the love interest, and then I worked a little bit on Harper's friends, and I started a new character profile because I realized that I didn't do a profile for one of Austin's friends, and he is like a main character because I'm doing dual POVs. So I have Harper's friends down, and then I was like, I should probably figure out Austin's friend as well. Plus, if I end up writing a companion sequel to this book, which I have been considering and like vaguely planning, just so I could like do things that I need to in this book in case I want to do that, he's going to be the love interest with it along with Sophie. So I need to make sure that their character profiles are like fleshed out almost as if they were main characters, just so I can really, you know, make sure they're good for the next book. But yeah, so I was doing that yesterday, and I'm happy with how they're progressing. I want to work on them maybe a little bit more today. I do have plans to go to Rochelle's house tonight, but I'm hoping I'll have a little bit of time to work on this. And then I also want to do a bit of world building for this book. I typically don't do a lot of my world building before the first draft. It usually comes in for the second draft, just because I know myself and I know that setting and descriptions and world building is not something that I concern myself with while drafting. When I'm drafting, I primarily focus on just getting the story down, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. But I did just want to do a little bit of world building before stepping into the drafting process. And I did do some work yesterday figuring out where my characters live, where their like apartments are in comparison to places that they are going to be visiting throughout the book. I also like did some Pinterest work of like aesthetics and stuff for the places that they live. The last goal is to start drafting Mission Rom-Com. I don't know how long it's going to take me to finish the outline, finish the character profiles. I just, with everything going on in my life, like I just don't know when I'm going to be able to finish all of that. But I do have a word tracker set up on this page, and also a tracking like milestone thing. You're not gonna be able to see that, it's just in pencil. But yeah, I need to wait and see when I'm going to be able to start drafting this book before I fill that in at all. But yeah, I don't know what this vlog is going to be, but I'm so excited to be working on this book finally and to start a new writing vlog for you guys. I'm so excited. just want to make a quick clip because my camera is dying, because of course it is. But I want to make a quick clip to update on my writing process. Okay, so I've decided that I have finished the character profiles enough for draft 1 because I typically don't really look at them anyways, and I can always just like add things for like later drafts when I flesh things out more. I've called it quitsies. I call it dunsies on the character profiles. It makes me feel good because that means I'm like one step closer to being able to draft this project. The main reason though for me wanting to update real quick, so you guys all know that I love Save the Cat Writes a Novel by Jessica Brody. It is my favorite writing craft book. I swear by it. I talk about it literally all the time. Every time I go to write a book, I pull this book out. It was announced forever ago that she was writing a YA version of this book with all YA examples, and she was like elaborating on some things, answering some questions that she got after this book came out, and I ordered it with birthday money when it finally came out, and it came in the mail today. It is stunning. Look at my babies, it's beautiful. And I've kind of already started like tabbing things off, and I've read some sections. Obviously I'm working on Mission Romcom, which is an adult novel, so bad timing for this to come out and for me to get it, but that's fine. But there is a section on how to make the beat sheet work for a dual POV or multi-POV novel, which is something that people felt. Okay, so my camera battery did die, but I was saying that myself and others felt like this book was missing some information, like how to create the beat sheet with multi-POVs. So I've been looking at that in this book to help me with Mission Romcom, and it talks, oh, I'm just so excited. It talks about different kinds of beat sheets depending on how you're doing the multi-POV. So there's a single track beat sheet, so where all of the characters like hit the same beats at the same time, and the beats are the same for every character. It's just kind of like how they react to it that's different. Then there's the multi-track beat sheets where the characters, like, they're connected in a way, but their stories and like their journeys are not necessarily fully connected, so they have their own beat sheets. And then there's the blended track beat sheets, which I feel like is the one that I'm gonna be leaning towards for most of the dual POV projects that I would do. So I circled it, which I don't even know if you can see, because it just felt right to me. So it blends the two kinds of multi-POV beat sheets, the multi-track and the single track. And this is what I did subconsciously for What You Mean to Me, which is my YA book that has multi-POV, and it's gonna be what I'm using for this. It was also subconsciously what I was doing for this book, but Jessica Brody suggests writing separate beat sheets for each hero, so doing it like a single track, I guess, and then see how and where those beats overlap and merge, or where they could overlap and merge. So I'd already started making the outline, which I told you guys about in the very first clip in this vlog, but I've decided today to split them into two, kind of elaborate on some, and then I'll merge them together, and I'm so excited. So I've been working on Harper's all day. She's the female main character, and I did most of hers. Some parts I was very vague, but I have them written down in the other outline, so I just need to do some copy and pasting, some finagling, and it'll be fine. And then I did fill in some missing parts that were not in the outline that I was originally working on, and kind of worked on her individual story more. I definitely want to kind of infuse, I guess, some more like specific like character things, because I really want her to be flailing in life and have a lot of feelings of like her just not knowing what she's doing and not feeling like an adult and all these things. And I just kind of want to weave that in a bit more and like have basically reminders for myself that while I'm writing, I want to be like mentioning that she doesn't know what she's doing, she doesn't know how to adult, like how did she get here. And that's definitely something that I kind of want to infuse. And then also just like her feelings on relationships and kind of how she has interacted with those in the past, how they affect her, what she thinks of them, how she feels about herself in relationships, and how she kind of views herself through a romantic partner's eyes, I guess, from past experiences. So I also want to like infuse that into her beat sheet so that when I put it all together, all the information is there. I also do need to figure out like locations and like what they're wearing and stuff, but that can come a little bit later. I just need to make sure I'm getting the story and the beats down. But while the camera was charging, I moved over to working on Austin's beat sheet, who's the male main character, and I've gotten up to the debate on his, and I'm gonna like figure out where they like connect and where they share beats. And I'm just very excited about this book and this entire process and like navigating writing an adult rom-com. It's going to be a very interesting ride, and I just kind of wish that like this had come out when I was like actively working on a YA book. But I'm sure this will come in handy when I go to revise Whimtim again, whenever Kaylee finishes beta reading that for me. So yeah, I have just like marked off some things, kind of basing it on how I marked things off in this one, just kind of things that I reach for often and like just want to flip to really easily without having to like search for it. So I have like the overview of the beat sheet, acts 1 through 3 are tabbed off, and then I have the customizing the beat sheet, which is where the multi-POV part is, and also how to write a beat sheet for a series, which I might take like a little bit of a look at because I want this to be a companion series. So I kind of want to see if that has any like insightful information that I could think about. And then I also have early and late catalysts, which I believe is also in the customization section. That just seems like something I would like, because since using Save the Cat in general, but also just like in the last couple of years, I've really been like into putting like the catalyst like at the very beginning and just really getting into the story and giving some faster pacing. So I definitely wanted to mark that off so I could come back to it easily. And then I also have the multi-POV one tagged down there. Like I just got this book today and already I've annotated it, already it's helping me. So I just love Save the Cat, and if you've not picked up either Save the Cat book, I highly recommend it. This one also works for YA books. Like the beat sheet isn't changing, it's just the information that she's adding into this that was not in this one, and also like specifically viewing it through a YA lens. And then also this book is purely done in YA examples, whereas this one has examples from middle grade, it has examples from young adult, it has examples from adult novels. It's kind of like a wider spectrum of stories, and I like that this one is more heavily focused or solely focused on YA projects. So there's going to be a lot more projects in this one that I know, which is going to be helpful. So yeah, definitely recommend both of these books. Like already I'm so glad that I bought this one, because I was a little bit worried about like buying both of these because I reference this one so often that I was worried that like buying this one would be like a little bit redundant or make this one kind of useless, but I don't think it will be. And also if she would write a middle grade one, I'm not gonna lie, I probably would buy it. I think I actually might stop for the night and I might work on my bullet journal a little bit and work on the word count spreads, because I do have the word tracker, which I don't think you can see because the exposure is a little bit too high. Yeah, right there. I want to fine line that in. I also have like a little like counter tracker on the next page. I can like color in it all the milestones. So I want to figure out when I want to start drafting this book and how many words I want to try to get done this month. This is like the first time I've drafted a novel outside of a NaNoWriMo event, and I don't even know how long. Like every time I draft a novel, I plan it around NaNoWriMos, and this is the first time that that's just not worked out because of the whole moving thing. So this is like a different experience for me. But it's 11:51, so I don't know how long I'm gonna work on this for. Like I don't know if I want to like finish it today, but I'm definitely like tapped out on the writing for the day. So I will try to pick it back up tomorrow, I think, and work on act 2 for Austin, maybe also act 3. I'm not entirely sure, because I do have like a lot of it already written out. I just need to like give him his own beat sheet kind of vibe. Just to make sure I'm being really thorough, I wanted to try this method that Jessica Brody recommended. So I'm going to figure some stuff out, do this bullet journal spread. I will catch up with you guys soon. I have just finished Austin's beat sheet. Maybe not everything is figured out. Just like in Harper's, there are some things that I did more of an overview for than like specific individual scenes, so I still need to figure those out. For all intents and purposes, like it's done. I'm not really anticipating doing too much more work today, just because it is a Wednesday and I hang out with my best friend on Wednesdays, and we're actually hanging out earlier today than we normally do. So yeah, I'm not planning on getting a whole lot of work done. I did get a late start to my day, so I've only been working for maybe like 45 minutes maybe. I kind of really want to delve back in to Save the Cat Writes a Young Adult Novel and read the little section on customizing the beat sheet for if you're writing a series. I just kind of want to see what it says, because maybe it'll spark some inspiration for the companion sequel to this book that I'm kind of wanting to do. But yeah, I just kind of want to read that a little bit. I'm just in a mood to read a write and craft book and annotate it a little bit. It just so happens that I'm not writing a young adult book, so I'm not going to be like really delving into this one yet, but that is a section that I do think I can delve into at least a little bit, just to kind of see what it says, you know? This section is not going to be overly helpful for the projects that I'm about to embark on. It does look like it would be extremely helpful if I was writing like a proper series, but basically it starts out with the types of series and it goes through static series, anthology series, and then it delves a lot deeper into a dynamic series, which are things like the Hunger Games trilogy, the Six Crows duology, like ones that follow the same characters and have like an overarching like plot. So it goes a lot deeper into that and like proper beat sheets, because for the anthology series, which is I guess what my romance books would fall into, basically ones that are set in the same universe, maybe with like some of the same characters, you just use the beat sheet for those separately, like they're different books because they are different books. I don't really know what I was hoping to get out of that, to be honest. I was thinking maybe it would like give me tips on how to like weave things in, but I think I can do that on my own. Like I think I'm fine. I just need to like solidify the plot for the second book and I should be good to go. But if I ever decide to actually write a series, I'm gonna return to this because it goes through so many different things. So I think this would be extremely helpful if you're writing a series. I'm just not writing like the traditional type of series, so that is not going to help me. Maybe I'll flip through and see if there's anything else I want to look at, because I still am like in the highlighting, annotating kind of mood. So okay, so it is now August 10th. So last night I did manage to read more of Save the Cat Writes a Young Adult Novel, and I just kind of started looking at all of the different story genre chapters and kind of flipping through them, making little sticky note parts, and then I came across some inspiration, I guess, for my middle grade novel that I want to work on for NaNoWriMo in November. And this was so unexpected. Like I was not planning on working on this novel right now or getting any ideas for it, but I got to the Golden Fleece chapter and it just kind of felt right. Like it felt like this is the genre for my middle grade story. The Golden Fleece is kind of described as being all about destinations that lure us out of our comfort zone and the journeys that change us along the way. So they can be like road trip stories or something like that. Mine is not a road trip story. So it's basically just where characters go on a journey. So there's 3 elements to a Golden Fleece genre story, and it's a road, a team, and a prize. So the road is where our journey takes place. It's the primary setting and also quite often the premise of the novel. So it's just like the journey that they go on. And then there's the team, and then the second part is a team. So the people that are with your main character on this journey, whether they start out the journey with them or they meet them along the way. And it talks about how each person on this team needs to have like their own specific set of quirks and skills that make them invaluable and important to the journey. And then the last part, a prize. The prize is the big goal of the story. It's what the hero and team are after from the moment they hit the road, the far off destination that put them on the road to begin with. So just something about that really spoke to me in terms of this story, because my vague idea that I have for this story is it involves a lot of like boy bands. It's kind of like Turning Red vibes, but without like the turning into a panda part of the story. Like just like the very basic idea of like this group of friends who are obsessed with a boy band and they really want to go to their concert. And so my kind of vague, very basic idea was surrounding them trying to like do like a series of contests or something to try to win concert tickets, because their parents aren't buying it for them, don't want them to go, think they're too young to go, or they just don't want to spend the money on it. And so the whole story is like them just trying to find a way to get to this concert. So that's the road. The team is my main character Winona and all of her friends, and then the prize is the tickets to the boy band concert. So I've just kind of very bare bones written that in my notebook. There's all of these fangirl related nerdy stickers that's kind of collaged on there because this looks like something that I would have made when I was about 12, which is the age my characters are, so it just felt appropriate to deck out the cover like this. So yeah, I'm not gonna like actively work on this right now, but I just wanted to like talk about how I got inspired for it last night reading Save the Cat Writes a Young Adult Novel. And I'm not usually a person that wants to or likes to work on multiple projects at once. I'm usually like very tunnel focused on one project at a time. But you know, I got the inspiration last night and I just figured, you know what, I'm just gonna go with it. You know, I'm gonna roll with it. I'm gonna read the chapter, I'm gonna take notes, I'm gonna map it out very briefly here. So if I continue to get inspiration for it, that's fine, but my main focus still is Mission Romcom and working on that, which brings me to the next part of this update. So the plan for today is doing more outline work. I kind of want to focus on Harper's a little bit today, and trying to weave some extra things into her outline, and then maybe also glancing at Austen's and kind of bulking that up a little bit. I just kind of want their separate beat sheets to be as full as possible, as rounded out as possible before I kind of merge them back together. So that's what I'm gonna work on today. Hopefully it goes well. Hopefully I get, you know, lots of things done. It's currently 2:30 p.m. so I have some time to get some work done today. So I'm gonna put on my playlist for Mission Romcom, which features a lot of my favorite songs, but also some of the songs from the How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days soundtrack, which I love that. Like, some songs come on and like they just remind me obviously of the scene that they're connected to in the movie, and I just like get really happy. Like, there's one that makes me like cry every time I listen to it because it's from my favorite scene in the whole movie, and it just had to be on my playlist. So I'm gonna try to work through Harper's outline right now and see how that goes. Also, I never finished like Austen's beat sheet really yesterday. I didn't really touch on this yesterday, but when I was working on Harper's separate beat sheet, I had Austen having the final POV in the book, and I just don't know if that sits right with me. Like, I feel like it needs to be Harper who ends out the book. I don't know, it just feels right that Harper would end it. I don't know, I kind of just like left it blank in his beat sheet. I need to play around with it. Yeah, I don't really know where I'm gonna like add things in her beat sheet. I'm just gonna kind of read through it, see where I can kind of fit things in. I also wouldn't mind trying to figure out like outfits and what they're wearing in any given scene, but I guess it doesn't like need to happen right now. I don't know. I should probably also figure out a timeline, because obviously How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days takes place over like just over 10 days, so I need to figure out what their timeline is, like what their deadline is. I think I was giving it like a couple of weeks, but I'm not entirely sure. So I need to figure out what I want the timeline to be, because if I add a timeline too late into the outline, chances are it's gonna get messed up. Like, timelines are always the bane of my existence, so I'm gonna need to make sure that I have that all figured out. Okay, so it's now September 11th. Chandler, you're ruining my cute little fall display here. Okay, so it's been a while since I've updated the vlog. I don't even know the last thing that I updated on, but things have been happening. I have started drafting Mission Romcom. I don't think I've talked about that yet, but I have officially started drafting this book, and it's been going so unbelievably slowly. Like, this is the slowest that I've drafted a book since I think my very first novel. No, you know what, maybe Reasons Why Not To, the like first draft, because I think I did that over multiple NaNoWriMos. I honestly don't even remember. I don't know, like this is just definitely the slowest that I've drafted a book in a long time, and it's due to a couple of reasons. One, my grandma has been staying with us for the past month. It was supposed to just be a couple of weeks, but things have happened, so now it's been a month, and I've had to look after her quite rigorously, like always being with her, just because she's been kind of unsteady on her feet, and it's been kind of tedious to bring my laptop with all of my supplies, my chargers, everything downstairs. And then also, like, I've just been so tired and like zapped of all my energy that I haven't really had much left over for much of anything, let alone drafting a new book that I'm already extremely scared to write because it's in a different age category than I've ever written before. So yeah, it's been stressful. So I started drafting it in August and I got up to 5,240 words. So like literally nothing. Like that took me 14 days to get through, 16 days to get through, something crazy like that. Normally I can do that in like a couple of days. I mean, I've even done 5,000 words in a single day, so it's not been going great. Like I have way more 0 days here than I would like, and I also never finished the outline. I was having a lot of trouble with the fun and games, and so it was kind of my plan to start drafting the book and also simultaneously work on the outline still and complete that, and I've not been doing that because I've barely been able to draft. So I have a bit of a new plan, which I'll get to in a second. But now we're in September, so I have a new word count tracker right here. Like I said, it's currently the 11th. I haven't updated for yesterday, but I didn't write yesterday, so this is still up to date. I'm now at 8,640 words. I thought I was still in 7,000. That's great. So I'm at 8,640 words. So on the 9th, which is the last day that I wrote 2,210 words, which is the most that I've written for this project in one sitting, which felt really, really great. Like it was just the other night, it was like literally like 11 p.m. midnight kind of time. I just sat myself at my desk and then in the armchair that's in this room, I lit a candle. It was dark, I had all the lights out, and it just felt really, really nice to just kind of pour all these words out of me. Were any of them good? Probably not. I know that I was not overly happy with them, so that isn't great, but I just really need to let go of this perfectionism that I've been holding on to, which I don't normally feel when I'm drafting. Like I'm normally a very like focused person on like just get the words down there, worry about it later, and I've not been having that experience this time. I've been a lot more worried about the actual prose as I'm writing it and trying to make it really good instead of just like continuing writing. I've just been getting hung up on like the silliest little things and like beating myself up for like the silliest little things, and I just need to remember that this is a first draft. And I think I've also gotten really hung up on the fact that I'm scared that the voice isn't adult enough and like doesn't feel different enough from my YA voice, which I don't think is fully true. Like I think I'm just being hard on myself, but I also need to remind myself that this is a first draft and the voice and the tone doesn't have to be perfect yet. Like this is something that I can work on, especially since it's something that is so new to me in terms of the age category. I need to be easier on myself, and I don't know why I've had such a hard time with that this year, but this has definitely been my worst writing year in terms of like how much I've actually gotten done, but also just like mental health wise and like how I view my own writing. I've just been feeling very down about myself and my writing, and drafting a new project is not the place to be in when I'm in that headspace, because drafting always makes me feel like shit in general. I am just not a good drafter. Like I'm a very fast drafter normally, but the words are not necessarily good. And I guess that's like everybody's experience, but I don't enjoy the act of doing it, whereas I know a lot of people do. I much prefer revising. That's where like my sweet spot is. Instead of me working on a project that is a different age category than I'm used to and doing it while I'm not in the best headspace to be doing it is just kind of messing with me a little bit. So I kind of just really want to finish this project so that I can move on to something else. But this vlog has been going on for a little while now, so I think I'm just going to continue the vlog until I've hit 10,000 words, which means I only need to write 1,360 more words to hit that goal, which I thought I had had like around 3,000 words left to go. I didn't realize that I had written as much as I had. So I'm gonna try to write at least 1,360 words today, but I'd like to write a lot more. So I'm either gonna end this vlog once I hit the 10K or just at the end of my writing day today. We'll see how I feel, how much I want to film. We're hitting 10K today, okay? It's going to happen. I feel like I changed my like milestone every time I draft a book. I think I normally say like 20,000 feels like a real book, but this time I'm going to say 10,000 words feels like a real book, because I kind of feel like I'm not currently drafting a book because I've been doing it so slowly, but like I'm working on another book, and I'm pretty sure it's my 8th novel. I would like to get it done, you know, but also I'm gonna try to get just to the end of Act 1, and then I'm going to stop drafting for a minute and try to focus the rest of my energy on finishing up the outline so that I can just plow through knowing that everything is figured out that needs to be figured out. So I don't know when I will finish Act 1. I'm hoping by the middle of the week or earlier, and then the rest of the week I can spend working on the outline, but I will talk about that more in the next vlog. Or should I just do this until I get to the end of Act 1? Okay, maybe I'll film this until I get to the end of Act 1. I think that's the new revised plan that I just came up with on the spot. Okay, it is time to sit down and do some writing. I'm gonna write until lunchtime. It's currently noon, so I'll probably go to eat lunch in about a half hour or so. But yeah, so I'm gonna write for about the next half hour and see how much I can get done. Took a break for lunch, but before that I did indeed hit 10,000 words. I actually hit 10,468 words, so nearly 10,500, which is super exciting. So that means that I wrote 1,828 words, so nearly 2,000. I'm actually determined to get to the end of Act 1 today, which I think that I can definitely do. I'm kind of at the catalyst right now, so I'm like very, very close to the end of Act 1. And in my outline, I've got like the beginning of Act 2 done. Like I've got Break Into 2 and part of the Fun and Games. Like I do have a few scenes written for the Fun and Games, but definitely not enough. So I could technically continue until I just reach the end of what I've got for Act 2 and then go back to the outline. But I think I am just going to stop after Act 1 and then try to figure out the rest of this outline, at least in like a very basic, simple sense. Like it doesn't need to be perfect, it doesn't need to be fully fleshed out, it's fine. I think what I need is just like more subplots, which is always my issue. I think I just need more things going on, and I can already tell as I'm like drafting this that so many things are half-baked. Like I feel like my male main character definitely needs more going on, more of a motive for doing what he's doing, but that is something that I'm going to worry about later. Here is where I stop worrying about every single little thing, and I'm just gonna worry about getting this book done. So yeah, I think it is still my plan to finish this vlog today, and that just means that I need to finish Act 1, which really is only gonna take a few more chapters, I think. But I'm actually gonna take a break. I think I'm gonna come back to this at some point after dinner because I've really been enjoying writing here in the evening. Yes, I'm gonna pause to do some reading, and then after dinner at some point I will come back and do some more and hit the end of Act 1. So it's now 10:42 p.m. and I finished writing for the day. I just finished my second session. I managed to get up to 11,531 words. I was gonna just stop at 10K, and then I realized that I wanted to keep writing. I also realized that I was at the end of Act 1, like I was reaching it far quicker than I thought I was. I thought I had like another scene or something, but I didn't. So I've now also written the Break Into 2 beat, which is not good. Like I don't like the way that I wrote it at all. It feels rushed. I feel like I made my characters open up to each other a little bit too much too soon, so I feel like that's definitely going to need to be changed in a later draft. But I wrote nearly 3,000 words today. I wrote 2,891, so I'm really happy with that. That is now officially my largest word count day. So I finally feel myself kind of coming back to myself and coming back into the writing mood. I do feel like it's because the weather is changing. We are getting some colder weather. It was unexpectedly a little bit cold today, not overly so, but just like a little bit. So I'm getting slightly more into the groove of things, which is really, really nice. Yeah, and I think doing it in 2 different sessions like this today was really, really helpful, like writing earlier before lunch and then writing now in the evening. I think it really, really helped because it kind of felt not like 2 different days almost, but it kind of did give that nice separation where it felt like I was re-energized enough to get back into it, which was really nice. So maybe I will try to replicate that again. I think I'm going to end this vlog here actually, because I said I was going to end it when I got to the end of Act 1. And I've gotten to the end of Act 1. So I don't really know what this vlog looks like, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, please give it a huge thumbs up, comment down below, and please let me know what you've been working on recently. It's been so long since I've posted a writing vlog, and I just desperately want to know what you guys are all working on. So please do let me know down below in the comments. Subscribe if you have not yet already, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!